joining today. We're really thrilled to be having another meeting of our Change Day BC ambassadors. These meetings really provide a chance for us to come together and share information and resources. Just before we started today, if I just can point people out, if you want to mute your line if you're not talking, it's easier than us muting them all on you. Just so to the right of your name, you have the option of just muting your line. And so if you have any background noise where you are, maybe you could just mute your line, and we'll go from there. And so just as we're getting going today, we thought we'd just start with some introductions. We're welcoming people to please, if you don't mind introducing yourselves in the chat box on the right-hand side, because we've got a fair number of people on the call today. But just to start with, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Colleen Kennedy. I'm the Director of Innovation and Engagement with the BC Patient Safety Quality Council, and I'm delighted to be here with Robin Speedy. I'll hand it over to her to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Robin. Nice to see you all here again. Well, see figuratively, but good to have you all on the call today. So I'm leader of Innovation and Engagement here at the Council as well, and Colleen and I are helping to support Change Day and move things forward and organize these meetings and basically just pull together anything else that we can that you let us know that you need. So we're really happy to be here and meeting with all of you again. I'll just quickly run through our agenda for today. So we were just going to start with a quick update on some stats of where things are at, so everyone's in the loop on how things are going with the campaign. So we'll talk a bit about number of quizzes and Twitter and a few other things. And then we were also going to have a couple of presenters today. We're really happy to have a couple of people on the line that will be able to share some of their experience, what they're doing for help promote Change Day and how that's going. So hoping that that will help give you some ideas, and it's just nice to have the opportunity to get it to share now and again. So we may be calling upon you to do that in the future as well. And then I've had a couple of questions for discussion again today, and then we do have a little special announcement that Colleen is going to provide more details on towards the end of the call. So anything about the agenda before we get started? Everyone's good? Perfect.
I'm drawing things on my end of things. Wonderful. Well, thanks to everyone for coming today. We are recording this call, just so you know. The folks who can't attend are then able to listen to it. We had some good feedback after our last meeting that people really appreciated the opportunity to listen when they couldn't attend. So our recording, just so you're all aware of that. We wanted to give you a bit of an update as we start today, and we didn't want to spend a lot of time providing information to you from us. We want to hear more from you today. But just as I brought up on the screen for those of you who are online, just a little infographic that shows you sort of where our stats for Change Day BC are sitting at. And I actually just checked online at the start of the call. We're actually up to 297 pledges as of this morning. So we have 5 more since earlier today, so we're starting to see a bit of momentum going for our pledges. So I'm just curious, with people on the line today, how many of you have actually entered your pledges for Change Day BC yet? You want to pop up your check marks. Just use your check mark on the right-hand side of the box if you've done your pledge already for Change Day BC. So we've got a fair number of people have done their pledges. I'm just peeking down that list. A few people haven't entered their pledge online yet. I really encourage you to go online and enter your pledge. We're at 297. So I remember well, Julie Wooten with Superior Health was number 200. And so I'd love to see who the number 300 pledge is for Change Day BC. So if you pledge today, you might land in that number 300 spot. So we went about our milestones as we move through the campaign. Thank you for voting there. So those of you who haven't had a chance to do their pledge yet, I challenge you to enter your pledge online. As of today, we have 118 volunteer ambassadors for Change Day BC. So just really wanted to thank you all for taking the time to volunteer your time to help promote Change Day BC. We're at 36 attendees on our call right now today, so thanks for making the time to join us. We have 23 partners now for Change Day, and I had conversations this morning with a couple more folks that are keen in joining us, so we're seeing our numbers grow. Other little updatey things to keep you in the loop around is we're proposing some Change Day BC events coming up. The first one that we've got in planning works right now, and these dates aren't finalized, but we're looking at becoming a change agent one-day workshops regionally across the province in June. can see from the dates in the slides, we've got some dates tentatively set up here for us to think about. With the June 2nd for Kelowna, June 3rd for Vancouver, June 10th for Victoria, and June 16th for Prince George. Really emphasize these are still tentative. We're connecting with the quality leads in all the different areas. And so we'll be keeping you posted on those, but we'd love to see some of our ambassadors attend these sessions if they can. There will be a nominal fee for the course, but it's very low, just to offset some of the costs. So if you could join us for those, and we will keep you posted with registration information and details as those wrap up. At our last meeting of investors, one thing we heard from you is that you really want to have a session on social media. And so we're starting with our first Change ABC webinar, which is next Wednesday at noon. And the topic is going to be Twitter 101. So if you haven't used Twitter before and you want to learn more about it, Kevin Smith, who's our communications expert from the council, is going to be leading an amazing session on Twitter 101. And so we'd be thrilled if you could all join us for that. And I think Robin's going to pop the registration details into our chat box. So if you haven't already registered for Twitter 101 and you want to join us next week, you actually can just register online, and it's a free course. You can just come and join us at lunchtime. So popped up in the chat box here shortly. She's so good. So you can just follow that link that she's put in the chat box if you want to register for Twitter 101. Hearing you last time we met, we really heard that you wanted to have these ongoing webinars. So what kind of information, resources, and different information you might want to learn more about as we move along in this campaign? And so what I'd hear from folks on the call right now is, if you have any suggestions or topics that you'd like to see us cover in future education sessions for Change Day. So if you
Helga from Victoria calling. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. One of the things that I think might be helpful as we move towards October 15th is kind of a framework for each of the ambassadors or to develop a project plan, if you will, whereas we know what the milestone dates are, like the June 10th date that you just described for Victoria, and we start to build our plan around what are the things that we need to do between now and October 15th.
Nice. What the great question, Helga. So thank you so much. A little bit less of a plan, but some of the how you can be a change agent will be certainly covered in these workshops, looking at some of the things like storytelling, framing, bringing people on board, rolling with resistance or embracing resistance. So that's great feedback, though. Really appreciate that. So really the how and how to build a plan. Would love some others.
I would say as well, Helga, we would probably look to this group to help inform that. What kind of milestones would be meaningful? Any suggestions that you have that we can incorporate into something like that, rather than it being just us that's trying to guess. It's helpful if you have anything in mind for that to help inform it. I think that would be great.
Yeah, I'm developing a draft plan, so I'd be happy to share that with the group. But yeah, that's what I was thinking, was that each one of us holds a piece of this pie, and to maybe develop a plan or to take from each other's plans would be helpful.
Wonderful. Love that idea, and we'd love to see your plan, and we can certainly set it up on our Facebook section of our page and even our resource page, Helga. So really appreciate your willingness to share that. I noticed Dimple in the chat box has suggested, wanted to know more about how to set up a Change ABC table. That's a great question, Dimple, and actually I know Liz Lamb from Impact BC can join us this month, but they've already set one up at Impact BC, and so she's going to tell us a little more about what they've done at our next meeting, so she can maybe give us a few tips on what she did that worked well for her. So great question, Dimple. Other people's thoughts on what they'd like to see for future topics for education.
And feel free to write them in the chat or just speak up, whatever is easiest for you.
Hi, this is Dimple here.
Hi, Dimple.
So I guess my question is, what are the organizations apart from healthcare we can reach out to? to participate in Change Day and make their pledges. For example, can we approach community centers? Can we approach schools? Can we approach parks and recreation, set up tables there? So my question is, are there other avenues that we can explore, and how?
Absolutely. So most of that would be to be the world's your oyster on that, Dimple. Feel free to reach out to any single organization you want to across the province. On the weekend, my daughter and her friend did a pledge from one of the local high schools, and they've committed to doing some stuff around Change Day BC. So absolutely, community groups, any organizations, we're welcoming people to connect with. And we're really going to try and build on what Carla's saying and hearing what others are doing and learning how people are reaching out and learning from each other. So for those of you who've had some experience starting to reach out, would love to hear your stories, and we're going to really try and bring those stories back. We're going to have the first few of those today in our call today. Asma, you talked about as well about local or regional community events where Change Day BC info booth could set up. I think that's also a great idea. We've got some internal meetings we're going to be attending. We can keep you posted on some of those ones provincially we'll be at, but also other ideas for organizations we can connect with. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
And go ahead. Somebody started to talk there.
Sorry. Deanne and Fraser Health. One of the things I'm starting to think about is what events at some of our sites could look like on the actual day, October 15th.
That's a really good question, and we actually talked about that at our Partnership Alliance meeting, and we debated over including it in our agenda. How would folks feel about having that as one of the primary focus points for our next meeting in May? What Change Day BC itself will look like? Does that sound like a good topic for next meeting? If they want to just do the check mark next to their name, if they want to go that route? Well, it sounds like that's a keeper for our next meetings. We'll make sure we focus our next meeting around Change Day itself and really looking at what Change Day looks like. Great idea. Do you have any idea what you're actually starting to plan? Okay, I can't wait to hear more about it. Okay. Thanks so much. We'll move again. We'll want to give lots of time for our questions today. I just wanted to take the opportunity to remind folks we have set up a Facebook group. So there's just to keep things a little bit, keeping your toes, we have a Facebook community, which is sort of the general Facebook page that people see when you click on the Facebook page link from the Change Day BC website. From this site, you can also access the Facebook group. We've created this group for Change Day BC ambassadors, and there's actually been a fair bit of activity on it recently. People are starting to share ideas, suggestions. So just a show of hands, actually we'll just do a tick. How many of you on the call have actually already joined the Facebook group so far? So there's the Facebook Change Day BC ambassadors group. All right, Dimple, you're on there. Awesome. Robin, we just have folks who've joined that group so far. So I really encourage you to join that group and ensure that in our follow-up newsletter from today's meeting that we still include a link to that so we can just keep that open and as accessible as possible to people.
We'll use that when we can as a way to share resources as well, just to avoid the big mass emails. So it's something you can kind of use as a resource hub as well if it works for you. Does the call tend to use Facebook and have an account? Like, is that something that's accessible to you?
Yep.
Okay.
Lots of check marks for that question, Robin. So it looks
Perfect.
like lots of folks are on Facebook.
Okay, so yeah. We also, if it's helpful, we could send out invitations to join that group. I don't know if we've done that already, Colleen. We could take our participants from this group and just send them direct invitations.
That's a great idea, Robin. Would that help, folks? Would you like to see us do that? Again, do you want me to check mark to say?
It was just a question of we didn't know it was even there.
Wonderful. Okay. Great.
And I also see something in the chat about adding it to the Change Day BC landing page. So if you go to changedaybc.ca now, there should be a Facebook icon at the bottom of the main page, and if you click on that, it will actually take you straight to the group. So
page right now, Robin, and there's a link to the group from that page.
So it'll take to the Change Day page, and then when you get onto that page, on the left-hand side towards the top, there's a link to join the ambassador group as well. And okay.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, everyone. That's great. We're going to keep moving along here, and
I'm just going to mute all the lines, I think, for this part, Colleen, just because I'm noticing quite a bit of background feedback. So if you want to speak up, just go ahead and unmute yourself first, okay?
actually hand it over right now. Now, Katie Quirk I'm going to hand it over to Katie. Robin, I might need you to unmute the lines for a second right now so we know which one's Katie calling in terms of her call-in user ID. So Katie kindly offered to speak to us today. Katie is from Fraser Health, and she's the manager of acute care of the elderly at Burnaby Hospital. We got this amazing photograph last week from Katie and her team, and so we wanted to kind of just hear a little more about what they've been doing for Change Day BC, and so she kind of offered to give a little 5-minute blurb on what they're up to. So Katie, I'll hand it over to you now.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, just give us a second now to press the lines, and we'll unmute your line. Are you good?
Can you hear me?
We can hear perfectly. Thanks so much, Katie. Go ahead. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, pleasure. Okay, I think you can see now the tree that we sent in. So I am at Burnaby Hospital, and I'm part of a group of site leaders, managers, and other leaders at the hospital, PCCs, CPL, so clinical practice leaders for health disciplines. And we call ourselves the patient navigation team, but we come together on a mostly weekly basis to discuss and sort of how we can support frontline staff engagement and sort of enabling them to take action on the things that they value. So I had attended the Healthcare Radicals session about a couple months ago now, and heard about Change Day BC, and so we were like, oh, it'd be really cool to do like a hospital-based pledge drive. So we had this tree drawn on one of the main windows in our building, and had like a tea and coffee session in the morning, and staff could come by and write their pledges on the leaves and then attach it to the tree. So this is still up in the hospital, and new pledges do get added periodically, although we sort of had like the big one drive in the morning. And yeah, it's really just about supporting and encouraging frontline staff in the work that they see as being important and valuable to them.
That's great, Katie. Well, has there learning from your work around this?
Like the learning for our group, our sort of takeaways?
Yeah.
I guess because when we started working like together a while ago, it was really around addressing like the big things in healthcare, infection control and care-sensitive events and, you know, all those things. And it's like, okay, well, as managers and siters, like, how do we really influence positive change in areas that we work in? And we really did feel like it was through this emergent approach and through believing that people come here wanting to do a good job and wanting to feel good about the work that they do. So it was more on how do we provide the tools and create the environment in which we'll foster this sort of work. And we've just seen really incredible results. Like we have improved discharges, we have fewer care-sensitive events, we have fewer issues with infection control. So like the work really shows itself in a way in a lot of our metrics, but it's not that really anything different is being done. I think it's just our approach to relationships and valuing the frontline staff and the work that they're doing. And this was really what the tree was about in terms of giving some acknowledgement to the work that happens.
It's absolutely beautiful. I'm just agreeing with Dimple, put a comment up here. I think it's really spectacular what you've done there, Katie. And I know it's a question on the chat box from Kelly Helland. Hopefully I'm not butchering your last name, Kelly, about do you put the pledges from the tree on the Change Day website? So do you want to answer that, Katie, or do you?
Sure, I can answer it too. Colleen asked for them to all be on the Change Day website. I think we'd taken pictures of about 5 of them to submit them, and I'm working with them because when we did this, I mean, we didn't really see it sort of being a big deal, right? So we hadn't talked to staff about that. We just were like asked about it and doing it. So I sent a message to our group just the other day saying, you know, Change Day BC would really like to represent this work and to have these pledges incorporated as well. So we are working on some options to sort of individually put all of the pledges in there. A lot of the pledges on the tree are anonymous. People didn't put their names on, but they know which are theirs, and that was the important thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, say that was the important thing for us, and I do just need to stress that, like, I would love to take credit for all of this. It's really, the hospital has such a wonderful site group and a group of managers and directors and staff that come together to do this, and the patient navigation team has participants of all levels. We have frontline nurses, PCs. It's really an interdisciplinary approach to at the hospital.
I just brilliant, Katie, and really appreciate you sharing this. And just so everyone knows, what we've offered to the council is we don't want entering pledges to be a barrier at all for anyone. So if you're collecting pledges, whether they're print, on sticky notes or in the postcards, you can just send them in an envelope to us. In this case, Katie has taken some photographs. So if they just send them to us as a photograph or any way you want, we will enter the pledges online for you. In this case, Katie's group, we're respecting that they wanted to keep it anonymous, so we're just entering the pledges anonymously online. And so should we receive the remaining sort of 95 or so pledges on that wall, we'll do the same thing. We'll happily enter them for you and keep them anonymous to respect people's wishes. So just so that we will provide that service for everyone. There's a few more comments here in the chat box, Katie. So from Ranj Wood, she just said she really loves this idea. It's a good idea in terms of a way of promoting Change Day and a physical reminder to everyone. I love that. Thanks a lot for raising that, Ranj. And Dimple, so do you want to just speak that one, Dimple, since you're on the line? I should have done the same thing with Ranj.
Colleen, you just answered that. So should we choose to do something similar, then we could just send in pictures and enter them online.
Okay, perfect.
On the website.
Okay, good. Sorry. I'm just seeing that now. I'm
Sorry.
not fast enough, obviously. The other thing we're doing
you just
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Dimple. What questions that people have for Katie today?
Helga, a question around, described how the team is interdisciplinary, and you have, there was kind of a platform to use this tree with. So I'm wondering if you could comment on some of the factors that are present for a team to come together and to make those pledges.
The navigation team at the hospital has been in existence for 3 years now. And at one time it was called the Action Team, and it was just a group of people at the hospital that wanted to come together to collaboratively fix problems and look for solutions together. So it was often about we had really high C. diff rates. How could we address this? Or had trouble getting patients to residential care. Why? What could we do about it? So it's just bring minds together to collaborate, and that group has really transformed over the years and taken more of this transformational, emergent sort of philosophy for leadership. And after attending the healthcare radical session, and hearing about Change Day, we just started brainstorming about what it could look like at our site, and got some really creative, energetic people on the team, and fun. I think art in the past is stuff like we decorated hallways with murals to get people to stake stairwells, things like that, you know. And it was like, oh, what if we kind of somebody a tree, you know, it was just very organic in nature, and it was that we were gonna like have this happen. We have this cart at the hospital. It's called the roving cart, and it goes around to the different units to touch up and talk to staff about different issues. And so the roving cart was going around and handing out the leaves and being like, come Monday morning to the hospital, you can enter pledge and have a cup of coffee. And we just word of mouth, and the day lots of people showed up, and it was, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Other questions for Katie?
I think my add, Colleen, it's Robin here, is, and I learned this as well through the launch of Change Day at the Quality Forum, is when you do something like this, just on the piece of respecting the anonymity, and if people aren't really wanting to submit the pledges themselves online with their name and everything like that, these types of activities are so fantastic, and it's really cool to see all of the pledges brought together in the same place like that, showing a group commitment to all these small acts of change. Is you can also take post up pictures of them if it's easier, and the only way leave the name and email off of the front of it. So if people did enter their own personal information, if you put that on the back, then you can send in pictures and we can keep it totally anonymous, and we can associate those pictures with the pledges online when we enter them, which is another way. It might be faster for you too if you were taking a photograph of it where we can zoom in and read them rather than sending them in to us. So just another option for you and something to think about. We're here to help you in whatever way we can, so anything to make the process easier for you, but really great to hear about this kind of work and organizing these kinds of activities. So great to see it pulled together. Thanks for sharing that, Katie.
Yeah, my pleasure. Like I said, I don't think we didn't realize that it would be such a novel idea, but yeah, the staff here, I think, feel good about it because it is that recognition of the great work that is happening.
Absolutely.
And if there aren't other questions, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in all-day meetings today at my site, so I won't stay for the rest of the conversation, but hopefully we'll be able to join in briefly for other meetings in the future.
So much for coming, Katie, and I just sent you a note in the chat box as well, but just really brilliant work you've done. Really appreciate you sharing. I know I'll be in touch with you, and just please send your kudos and thanks onto your team as well for sharing and this amazing future.
I will for sure. We're meeting again on Friday, and I'll definitely send them an update about this, and we'll talk again about how we can share the pledges on a bigger level with Change Day BC.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
It was really nice to hear Katie talk about the positive changes in the workplace, and that would be, I think, really important when we go talk as ambassadors, share that with the work sites, right?
Absolutely. Ranch.
No, okay. It sounded like ongoing team day. You know, we attended workshops, team day, building. Feel really great about, but it kind of fizzles out at the end because they are not keeping up with that momentum. And this sounded like they were doing that on an ongoing basis.
I think that's a brilliant observation, Ranj, and I think that's the power is what we're really hearing is just positive outcomes of some of this work. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just that long-term sort of momentum that comes out of this. So thank you for sharing that. Any other comments before we move on? I have a map up here for those who can see the WebEx. And the reason I wanted to pull this map up is to introduce our next speaker. So Colleen Lutman is a rural nurse educator for the Thompson Caribou Shoe Shop, or IH West is what it's now called. So you'll see on this map here, you can see down the bottom left-hand side there's Vancouver, but you can see the Thompson Caribou Shoe Shop is a massive geographic area. And Colleen is a team of rural nurse educators that's responsible for traveling to all of those sites to do a lot of the education that happens for those communities. Her and her team work tirelessly in the work they do, and she has an abundance of energy I don't know if I've seen in many other people in my life. She started sharing some of the things she started to do for Change Day BC, and I thought it would be helpful for others to hear that as well. So I'll hand it over now to Colleen Lutman from Interior Health.
She's right. I do have a large area. I share it with my colleague Ecole Polier. So we both cover Thompson Caribou Shoe Shop, Acute Care Rural, and we cover 16 sites in total. And so we do travel a lot. We can't be on site at any of those sites for any great length of time. So what we're trying to do with Change Day is get some volunteers for site champions, but the other thing we're trying to do is promote it at things like skills fairs. So we do huge skills fairs in all of our larger sites. So June, we'll be going to Caribou Memorial, which is in Williams Lake, for a day, and then we'll be going to 100 Mile for a day for a skills fair, and then 2 weeks after that we will be in Salmon Arm for a 2-day skills fair. So we're hoping to promote Change Day at the skills fair. I was on a teleconference this morning for Interior Health Change Day people, and Ray Hill has actually volunteered to help us man those Change Day stations up in Caribou Memorial and 100 Mile. And what we thought we would do is get people to come and make pledges on the big cards that they can hold if they choose to in the photo booth. Send in, and then we'll get the postcards as well to send in for to put on a site. So we are in the very baby steps of organizing all of this, but I've got all my resources from the Change Day group, and it's looking really good. The people so far are quite excited about it. Salmon Arm actually always does some things at their skills fairs that make people feel a little bit better about what we do every day. And so what we're going to do in Salmon Arm is to show the Drew Daly Lollipop video, which is 8 minutes long, and I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, but it's a great pick-me-up video and how we impact people's lives without even knowing it. And then we'll give them an opportunity following that short video to take a postcard either with them or do it while they're at the skills fair. So that's our dream for our larger sites. For the smaller sites, I'm just kind of working. I didn't realize that I believe it's Marianne Waters was an ambassador too, and she says she's covering some of the smaller sites in community, so that will actually impact some of my smaller sites. So I think everybody's sending in some information so that we're not overlapping, and so we're going to sort out what to do with some of the smaller sites. So it's working really well so far. Everybody that I've kind of talked to about Change Day has made pledges and is kind of a little bit keen on it so far, so we're hoping to identify some champions and get that rolling.
Colleen, I think it's amazing that you can reach so far in terms of connecting with so many folks in such a large geographic area. So I'm really looking forward to seeing photos, any photos you can send me, or videos, or some updates on how those events are going. We'd love to hear more as that continues. Do any folks have questions for Colleen and the work her and her team are doing?
Johnsy.
Agree. Ray, I noticed you're on the line as well today. Is there anything you'd like to add in terms of your perspective from an Interior Health regional lens? Oh, Ray, so I may have just stepped away from his call for a second. It's just amazing, and I think it's great to hear the examples of the different stages that people are at, the different kinds of ideas that people are starting to do. We had 3 different additional folks that have come forward with some pretty neat stuff they've started doing. And are moving forward with our work around Change Day BC. It's really great to be able to share some of this early work. I'm going to get over to Rhonda now just to talk a little more about that.
Thanks. So yeah, I mean, really, I just think, like Colleen was saying, these stories are so great for us to hear. I think they're a wonderful learning opportunity for this group as well, just to generate ideas and energize people and inspire other activities and things. So basically for us, we've been hearing a lot of feedback about how valuable the stories piece is, and we're really just looking for your thoughts and feedback on what we might be able to do to support capturing that and sharing them and disseminating them both within this group and outside as well. So really comes down to we need some help from you, and we're hoping that we could have a bit of a discussion now around different kinds of things that might be possible for us to capture the photos, videos, activities, other things that we can do. And we wanted to put an ask to see if this group might be willing to commit to sending us one in the next month. So if that's something you're open to, it doesn't have to be something big at all. It can be a really small, quick snapshot. But we're just trying to generate that collection of stories so that we can share them more widely. So put that out to this group. I'm wondering if anyone might be willing to commit to doing that and sending that to bcpsqc.ca in the next month. And if you are, maybe you could use a check mark on your WebEx. And Dimple, Ranj, that's great. Fantastic, and thanks Maggie, I see you jumping in there as well. And continue to do this. I really enjoyed hearing from Katie and Colleen today about just the different things that they have planned, and and I see Allison and Asma as well at the top. Thanks for that. We'd like to continue to share these. So what we'll do is, as you send us the stuff in, we may ask you and invite you to share what you're doing with this group as well, just because it's nice for conversation and generating ideas. So hopefully that sounds okay, and we can maybe look at trying to integrate something like this into our calls in the future. So this is, just back to overall goal as well around trying to reach 5,000 pledges and thinking about all of the stuff that might be happening, and we're not necessarily hearing of it all, which is totally great. It's still wonderful that it is happening around the province. But one of the things we're wondering is how can we encourage getting pledges online or to help you send them in? What are some things that we might be able to do to support you in that? And then again, just ideas again for a little bit of time for some discussion around how we might capture some of those space. So you may remember from our first call, we had a couple of blank whiteboards that we put up to create just a space for you to type in any thoughts that you might have. You can also use that, or certainly just speak up on all, but really looking for some feedback from you to help inform what we might be able to do that's useful. So I'll open it up a little bit here and see if anyone has anything that they might like to say around this. So I will mention, I'm not sure how many of you have had a chance to check it out, but we actually have a story section on the Change Day website, and we're trying to profile different activities every couple of weeks. So the most recent story up there was around work that, what was her name, Colleen? Lalani that has been doing to spread awareness and learning around pain, agitation, and delirium. So we just did a quick interview with Lalani, and we pop it up there on the website, and these are kind of coming up on a regular basis. So that's one way that we're trying to share those stories. But anything else that we might be able to do to help make those visible and promote them, to make them useful and accessible for this group, we'd certainly be welcome to hearing about. A couple of things coming up on the screen there. Linking ABC to what people are doing in any way to improve care. Just a bit of overlap there, so make it as easy as possible for people to submit their pledges by mail. Right? Okay, so thinking about those pledge postcards, and also, if you're collecting pledges on Post-its like they did at Burnaby Hospital with the leaves, send them in. Are there other things that we might be able to do to support you there? Does anything come to mind?
Deanne in Fraser Health. One of the things, we just had our team meeting in professional practice this morning, and so I used the video and the PowerPoint presentation that's available, so thank you for those resources. And I just put out the challenge to my colleagues here in professional practice to to make their pledges. So we're doing a wall thing as well, but I'm thinking we might be able to go a little broader in our central city office tower here. But I also encourage, in addition to putting up on the Post-it note on our little poster in our office here, that actually, take the postcards, so I made those available, and I said also to go online and do it. It's one thing to have here in our office so we can see it, but we need British Columbia to see it, so we need to make sure that they're online. So I just put out a personal challenge to my colleagues.
Fantastic, Deanne. Thanks for sharing that. Really great. Yeah, a little friendly competition's never a bad thing, right? We we have on our website too, with the gallery of pledges. You can see a map that shows the top locations where pledges are coming in from, as well as the top organizations that are bringing in the most pledges. So, anything you're doing to incentivize getting your name up on that list is always fun as well. So now it's kind of it's pretty even for the top organizations at the moment. There's VCH, Interior Health, and Island Health, all with over 35. So it's another way you can just sort of see a tally. And
I actually showed that online, and in the interest of friendly competition, was some consensus in the room that we need to make sure Fraser Health is at the top of the list.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
With you at Deanne, it's Kathy here in Quality.
Oh, Kathy. We'll back.
Yeah, and our communications team is working on this too, so we're gradually getting things put together, but just a little bit delayed with the organizational restructuring happening here too.
Yeah.
Just a question in the chat from Colleen. If we send the cards to you, are they attention to anyone in particular? So with the pledge postcards, we've pre-written our address on the back. So if you just send those in as they are, then we will get them. Our office isn't that big. But you can just put attention to Change Day BC if you're sending in other things, an envelope or something that's not immediately obvious that it's going to be for Change Day, and we'll figure it out here within our office. Thanks, Colleen. So any other thoughts or suggestions around things that we can do to collect those? I know that things are just getting going. We're feeling that the momentum is building, and I think it certainly takes some time for people to organize themselves and think about kinds of things they might do to promote pledges and Change Day at their various sites. So it's great to know that all of that stuff is in the works, and we're really looking forward to hearing more from you about how things are going and what you've experienced, what works and what doesn't, to help each other. So the other thing we just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about was, again, around that stories piece. And I know this has come up a few times on this call already, so we've already had a bit of discussion around it. But is there anything else that would like to share, thoughts about how we might capture some of these or showcase some of the good things that are happening? Might be down towards the end of the call. And submit phrase. Yeah, I think that would probably be, we'd look to this group as well to send in that kind of feedback. Definitely share what we receive on Facebook. So we can post those kinds of things to our main Change Day page as well as within the group. And thing that you were talking about earlier, Helga, with creating a draft plan for iHealth that might be useful for other organizations to use as a template and adapt as they see fit. We can also use that Facebook group page to share those kinds of things, and you can post them directly yourselves. It doesn't need to come through us, which is a nice feature of the group. So once you're in there, hopefully we can create a bit of a hub for resource sharing and also getting those stories out. If there's nothing on that piece, maybe I'll hand it back over to you, Colleen, for a special announcement.
Sounds great. All right. So, we wanted to have some fun with this. We know that work is busy. I worked in health authority for 10 years. I know there's a lot of community organizations on the call. The work we do is busy work. We want to make this work fun as well. As we move forward, we want to try a little friendly competition in our Work for Change Day BC. And we thought a great way to do this would be try using something called Goose Chase. Just a quick maybe check mark X. If anyone on the phone has ever heard of Goose Chase before, do you want to use the check mark if you've heard of it before, and an X if you haven't? The X is showing up here so far. I don't know if we've had any check marks yet. Okay, so perfect. So it's a good segue for me to introduce it. Chase is essentially an app that we can have on either an iPhone or an Android device. And so you can go to the App Store for iTunes or Android devices and download this app called Goose Chase, free of charge. What we were thinking of doing was having some friendly ways of both communicating with each other, sharing ideas for things we can do to promote Change Day by using an app that might introduce some fun. So what Goose Chase does is it lets us have examples of different kinds of missions or tasks that you can do. So for example, one of those missions might be to set up a Change Day BC promotional table at one of your events. And what you would do is take a photo of that, submit in the app to get points, to earn points by finishing these missions. So missions might be things like having a table, hosting some sort of event where you're promotional resources for Change Day BC and getting photographs of people with lanyards on or buttons on or pledge cards. And you would basically have an option of a number of different things that you could do to get points. Now these points would allow you to earn badges, accolades, and probably most importantly, bragging rights. And what we're thinking of doing is that as you earn different levels of points, you'll earn virtual badges, which you can then either put on a signature file or pop onto your Change Day BC website profile pledge. So where you've got your pledge, you can actually pop up that image up there if you want, just to make it fun. The intent of this activity is kind of multiple. What we're trying to do is share different ideas for things you can do locally to promote Change Day BC. Trying to introduce some friendly competition just to have some fun with each other. Also trying to see if there's a way that we can also capture some of the images and photos of some of the things that are happening around Change Day BC. But we want this just to be defined by us. So looking at launching these missions at our next meeting in May, and when we come together, we're going to ask you to try and have the app installed on your iPhone or Android device. If you have one, all you need is one for one member of your team to have access to that kind of device. If you don't have it, we'll help you enter them on your behalf. But we want to hear your mission ideas. So when we're planning our Goose Chase, we're going to have missions such as getting pictures of people with the pledge buttons on, or Change Day Boost, or talking to two people you've never talked to before about Change Day BC. We'd love to hear your thoughts on different missions that we could possibly include. So we actually would like to welcome you right now to either shout out your ideas for missions that we could possibly include in this, throw them into the chat box, or after the call today, send us an email if you have some ideas on things that we might be able to include in our Goose Chase mission. Does you have any questions about what Goose Chase is and how it will work? Of those on the call today, if we do a little friendly competition among ambassadors using Goose Chase, how many of you think you would install the app on your phone and participate? So how about a check mark if you'd be in, and an X if you're not sure you would do this. All right, a few greens in there. This is great.
Colleen, green, Kathy Weir. Green, Kathy Weir on the phone.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much, Kathy. Sorry for excluding you on that voting option.
My WebEx isn't working right now.
Okay, thanks a lot. Oh, I love it. So Dimple already has a mission, so to have the IHI exec team to make their pledges this month's meeting. So you might want to do something local. I love that idea. So someone, your own internal exec team, might be making your pledges. Great suggestion, Dimple.
And you can do this individually, or you can do it as a team. I think it's probably a lot of fun as a team, and you can assign different tasks and missions to various members depending on what's easiest or how you can complete them fastest. But we thought this would be a fun thing to run through the summer and help maintain some of the momentum around Change Day and promoting it.
What we're going to do is we'll send you more details prior to the next meeting. We'll give you information on how do you download, where you do it. And what happens is we will have a Goose Chase that's set up online. We'll get you the name, and you'll be able to search online and look at that game and see the different mission options. Then you'll be able to register with your own account. And as Robin mentioned, you can sign on as an individual if you want, or you can do a team. So, for example, if all the IH folks on the phone wanted to come on board and do it together, they could come together as a single team to achieve missions. Or want a friendly competition among internal ambassadors, you could do it individually. Really just kind of meant to have some fun with this work as we move forward. And so we really look forward to your thoughts, our ideas. I love here we got a mission already, another one from Dee Adams. Hang up Change Day ABC poster in your workplace. So that's a perfect example of a mission we could have. You then take a photo of where you popped up the poster and submit it online through the app, and then you get points. The really thing about this app is it actually will post leaderboards. So you'll be able to see who has more points. We're going to try and make the missions super accessible so that whether you're a small organization or a large organization, that anyone can participate and make it super available to people. For more details about that to come, we're looking like we'll run this probably from the beginning of May and through to the end of June. We may do some other activities over the summer to come, and watch for those as well. Oh, Kelly has a great idea to put Change Day screensavers and shortcut links on your computers. That's a great idea. We've got challenging people to pop it in their lines as an idea too. So thank you so much, you guys. In the interest of time, we see that we're sort of wrapping up our call today. We wanted to give you a bit of a teaser because we will be launching Goose Chase at the next meeting. We'll also love to hear from any folks. There's a few people in the wings right now who can join us and speak to some of the work they're doing on Change ABC at next month's meeting. Just before we wrap up today, are there any questions or final comments people have?
Just a Pauline, thanks.
Oh, it's Ray. It's great to have you on the call.
Cheers. I'm back.
Wonderful. So I just wanted to say thank you very much to everyone. As we did with the last meeting, we will follow up with a little newsletter with a few little tidbits of a summary from our call today. This call has been recorded, and we'll make sure it's posted on our YouTube channel for you to listen to or to share with anyone who couldn't attend the meeting. And please, we want to hear from you. Ultimately, these meetings are yours. They're not our meetings. They're yours. And so if you have ideas or other things you want to make sure we cover, things that would be helpful, please let us know. Contact Change Day BC at the Change Day BC email address, or myself anytime, and we're happy to chat with you and connect. And really want to make these meetings most useful for you. So before we stop today, I just want to say thanks again to everyone for taking the time to join us, and really appreciate you coming online today.
For talking next month.
Thank you.